Greetings, tubers of the U. I'm back after another Leafs game last night. The St. Louis Blues were in town, and the Leafs threw out their biggest dud of the year by far. In the Pittsburgh game, the game before, I mentioned that the shots were even. They actually had more attempts that were blocked by Pittsburgh. The faceoffs were even. Like, everything was even. They skated. It was a fast game. It was an entertaining game. They just couldn't score a goal. This game was more of the same, but not. Like, it was just pathetic. It's that they weren't skating. They weren't fast at all. It was halfway through the game, right at the middle of the second period, and the shots were, I think St. Louis had 8 shots, the Leafs had 5 or 6. Like, it was just, there was nothing happening in this game. And it just went on that way the entire game for the Leafs, at least. St. Louis pumped in a couple of goals and then scored an empty netter or two, maybe, I don't remember. But the Leafs did eventually get a goal late in the game and ended up losing 4-1. But it was just, it was a closer game than the score indicated, but the Leafs totally shot themselves in the foot. It's just they weren't going to score the goals they needed because the effort wasn't there, right? This was one of the games where you felt that maybe they were relying on getting by on their talent alone against a struggling Blues team who haven't had a good start to the season, and this is just one of those pieces of evidence where, no matter how many good players you have on your team, you still have to show up, you still have to skate, you still have to try, you still have to play hockey, right? And they just didn't have it. The top 2 lines didn't look great at all. It was, again, the best efforts came from the third and fourth lines. They were the ones that seemed to have the better chances and a little more get up and go than the other guys did. Other than Kapanen, he actually had a really good game on the top line. He seemed to be the one that was really with it of those guys, but the rest were just nobody showed up. And and the Blues walked away with a win. I don't mind this happening at this point in the season because they were rolling along so good at the start of the season, scoring so many goals, making people just look stupid, right? And sometimes maybe that stuff gets to their head, and it's nice to have a couple games like this where it gets them grounded again, right? Like, and it goes, and it just kind of, that bit of early season adversity will probably pay off and help them round out their game and get back to playing hockey and get back in the win column. So I don't mind it happening. It's just frustrating to see. And these ebbs and flows during an NHL hockey season are normal. It's just so funny to see the contrast in this team, how they can score 5, 6, 7 goals a game to start the season and then go down to 0 and 1, against St. Louis, no less, who's they're not a bad team, but they're not great either, right? So it was disappointing, but like I said, hopefully it can serve to teach them a lesson. And they got a big challenge coming up this week. They play Wednesday and Saturday, home and home against the Winnipeg Jets, who are a big, strong, good team. So I hate them, but they are good. So that'll be a really good test for the Leafs, and they've got a few days of practice to hopefully sort things out and get back on track. And you'll see me again Thursday morning, at least in terms of the Leafs, and hopefully I will be reporting better news. See ya.